People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane. Right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
Most parents who are raised on a diet of overachievement, on doing, have a very hard time understanding that their drive is not organic necessarily, but coming out of their inadequacy, their fear, their lack. And they've never fully healed from their encountering their ordinariness. Don't do this to your child. Your child is okay and whole in their ordinariness. The child doesn't need more to feel more of themselves. They didn't come with this egoic desire to attach to PhDs or labels or judgments or wealth to feel themselves. Children feel themselves just by who it is they are. They have the simplest access to wholeness. We rob them of this. To truly love someone, it's truly loving the other for who it is they are, with no you in the picture. They don't have to love you back. They don't have to need you. They don't have to agree with you. They don't have to adhere to you. Now try loving your child for who it is they are.
See, there's a rule in life that said you're either growing or you're dying. The tree's either growing or it's dying. So's grass, so's a marriage, so's a business, so's a person. Doesn't have a thing to do with age. My birthday candles cost more than a cake. But it has everything to do with my trying to get better, my trying to prove. We got on top and say, this is pretty good, let's maintain it. Let's not take any risk. We finished second in the country at Notre Dame. Everybody called me an idiot. Guy finishes last in medical school, they call him doctor. That doesn't seem fair. When I left Notre Dame, I never thought I'd coach again. Where'd you go from Notre Dame? According to my mother, you go directly to heaven, you sit by the Pope. You don't coach anymore. And then I went to live in a town where the average age was deceased. And what I found out, I wasn't tired of coaching. You have to have something to hope for, something to dream. And even though you've done great things so far, what's going to happen now?
Imagine for a second that you're carrying a backpack. I want you to pack it with all the stuff that you have in your life. You start with the little things, the things on shelves and the drawers, the knickknacks, the collectibles. You start adding larger stuff. Clothes, tabletop appliances, lamps. Now you go bigger. Your couch, bed, your kitchen table. You stuff it all in there. Your car, get it in there. Your home. Now try to walk. It's kind of hard, isn't it? This is what we do to ourselves on a daily basis. We weigh ourselves down until we can't even move. And make no mistake, moving is living. Now, I'm going to set that backpack on fire. What do you want to take out of it? Photos? Photos are for people who can't remember. Drink some ginkgo and let the photos burn. In fact, let everything burn and imagine waking up tomorrow with nothing. It's kind of exhilarating, isn't it?
My father and I always had issues in terms of who I was and who he wanted me to be. My dad being your stereotype of the old school immigrant dad, working hard, getting your hands dirty. Life is tough, nothing is easy, nothing's going to be given to you. I was the antithesis of that, and it caused a lot of problems between my father and I growing up. I was an artist. I was very ultra sensitive. I didn't like doing manual chores, and because of that, I became even more ultra shy, where I would lock myself in my room or being almost a mute at home. So in school, I was put in lockers, the kid that was bullied, the kid that was picked on, the kid who was made to feel stupid even though he got great marks. It was not a good time. It was a very depressing time. And thankfully, one friend that I was able to make was Michael John Jansen. We lived not too far away from each other and quickly discovered that we both shared a love of profession. So he became another member of my family. And when I was 16, my best friend and I, Michael John Jansen, went to the high school charity show after practice. The promoter, Al Tomko, was doing the ring announcing. He asked if any one of us had handled a microphone before, and Mike starts laughing, saying, well, Morrow's the biggest mouth in the school. He's an announcer. He loves this stuff. I end up announcing the rest of the show. At the end of the show, the promoter comes out of the back smiling, and he goes, what's your name, kid? And I said, Mauro Ranallo. He's like, I think I have some work for you. Are you able to come to the BCTV television studios the following Tuesday? Yes, for sure. Okay, great. See you then. I didn't quite understand what had just happened, but I had gone from being the shy, quirky class clown with dreams of being on television one day and working for All-Star Wrestling to all of a sudden having the promoter of All-Star Wrestling, Al Tomko, invite me to BCTV television studios the following. So it was about 6 in the morning. I answered the phone half awake, and I thought that his sister Debbie was laughing, but she was just devastated, crying hysterically. I hang up the phone, not really being able to absorb what I just heard. I didn't believe it, I guess. I didn't understand. I thought I was totally disconnected. It wasn't until I saw my mom that I completely lost it and realized that my best friend had died at the age of 19 due to a heart attack. That set off a spiral downward that resulted in me being hospitalized by my girlfriend at the time. There was a hurricane in my mind. I felt like I was in prison. I was scared. I thought I was going to die, and I was diagnosed with manic depressive disorder. They say that mental health issues is triggered by traumatic events, and it doesn't get more traumatic than losing your best friend at the age of 19. I got really angry at the doctors and everyone else who had the audacity, the temerity to tell me that there was something wrong with me. I'm living the dream. I'm doing more work than anybody. I'm making more money than anyone I know. I'm helping people. I'm a good person. What do you mean there's something wrong with me in my brain? And my 20s were a complete and utter disaster. But I was hospitalized multiple times, the longest being 3 months. And the toll that it took on my family, my employment, my personal relationships, it is truly, I believe, a miracle that I survived my 20s and my refusal to acknowledge that I was mentally ill. When I finally admitted that, yes, my name is Mauro Ranallo, I suffer from bipolar affective disorder, I need help, then and only then did I finally get to see sustained success in all realms. It almost is because of my dad and the relationship and the struggles that we had that proved to be the fuel that I needed. I continued to fight, and proving to my dad that, hey, your son, A, is not only going to be okay, but B, I went on and, became the first broadcaster in network television history to call MMA, boxing, pro wrestling, and kickboxing on network TV. I've called the 2 biggest combat sports pay-per-views in history. All of us have a gift. Every single human being has a gift and a purpose in life. And for the large majority, fear is precluding them from pursuing their true path. People need people to tell them, you know what? It's going to be tough, but you can do it. People need to stop hearing, no, you're not good enough. No, you're not pretty enough. No, you're not smart enough.
Moved to California with $700 in my pocket and my toddler. And I have to fight the good fight because people are telling me you can't do this, you can't. Are you crazy? You're moving to California with your son, you'll never make it. I was 26 when I decided to come here. There's the age thing. Oh, you're too old. What if I believed those people who told me that when I became pregnant in college that I wouldn't finish? I walked across that stage with my son on my hip, and I collected my degree, my diploma. I didn't hear the naysayers when they were like, you're too old to go to California. If you don't hit by 25, you're not going to make it. I will be 46 this year. I am just touching the surface. I am just getting started.